this is Ayman Sabri, and welcome to my IPD uh, for final year project. So today I'm gonna be talking about stakeholders involved in my project, their roles, their interests, and their influence on project. Next up, I'm gonna be talking about functional and non-functional requirements that are implemented, non-implemented, or like non-implemented and also partially implemented. I'm also going to be talking about the overall system architecture, and yeah, and after that, I'm going to be following up by talking about the procedure of the game with the diagram, and I'm going to be ending by talking about a time schedule. So, first and foremost, stakeholders. Stakeholders are going to be me, Ayman Sabri, the developer of and designer of the game. My role as the creator, obviously, is I'm responsible for the game's vision, design, narrative, puzzle mechanics, and overall development. My interest in this project is crafting and engaging an immersive puzzle experience that resonates with the players by balancing like between gameplay difficulty and narrative intrigue. Uh, so uh, my influence on the development is going to be based on my creative direction, uh, like stories and puzzles and my decisions on pacing and mechanics as well. Like everything's going to be based on my design philosophy and vision for the game. So players or target audience, their role is going to be like engaging and like they're going to be engaging with and experience the game. Their interests are going to be like to solve challenging puzzles, to play a puzzle game with an immersive storytelling, intuitive controls, and they seek entertainment, mental stimulation, and obviously a sense of discovery. Their influence on development is gonna be basically like they're basically gonna help improve the game uh, based on a player feedback survey that I'm gonna make. That I'm gonna make like through playtesting, uh, like through community playtesting basically, and this can influence on like level difficulty or like puzzle design, narrative pacing, and obviously user experience improvement. Uh, Playtesters, so before releasing the game, uh, their role is going to be like testing the game in development stage, providing feedback or gameplay mechanics, puzzle difficulty, and overall experience. These people can be like a couple friends, some of my classmates, or also like some actual game testers if I'm able to reach any. Yeah. Uh, their interest is going to be providing constructive feedback to help me refine the game. They might also be interested in experiencing like a new and unique puzzle game. Uh, their influence on the development will be like helping identify bugs, design flaws, obviously pacing issues, and obviously like balancing the needs for puzzles. The playtesters will be ensuring that the game is challenging but still fair. Yep. Next up. So functional and non-functional requirements. So the requirements implemented are basically the player's movements, the player is able to move freely without any issues on the island, and also the player is going to be able to interact with environment to gather clues. So interacting with the papers, get clues, interacting with the cave door to open the cave, interacting with like the island environment to be basically able to escape and solve puzzles and unlock more clues and gather clues. Yeah. Um, Intro cinematic for the player waking up on the island, which was necessary because of the narrative and the story. So intro cinematic shows up for the player to waking up on the island. Um, Also, user interface. This is implemented. It's a start slash quit. It shows the name of the title of the game, and then start button to start the game, and also quit to leave the game. Dialogue or journal entries that provide lore and context to the island's secrets. So during the player's journey, they find papers that give them like narrative clues. It's like narrative on the story, tell on the story, and basically clues for the next puzzles and the progress on the island. Partially implemented requirements. So the player has to be able to solve puzzles to progress through the narrative. So this is already partially implemented. So the like the puzzles currently in the game are basically um, the puzzles currently in the game are basically progressive, so you have to unlock one by one and in a specific order for you to be able to continue playing the game, instead of just like collecting them randomly, and obviously which makes the game just disordered and non-organized at all. Cohesive narrative that unfolds as the player explores the island and solves puzzles. So again, uh, playing the game, solving the puzzles also gives you narrative clues and gives you like hints on the island's secrets, and obviously you explore the island as you solve the puzzles. Multiple puzzle types for varied gameplay. So I need to implement more puzzle types and more different puzzles to ensure that the gameplay is not too repetitive and the player can enjoy the game as much as they can. Next up, pending requirements. So inventory system. I want to have an inventory system where person can gather objects and clues for to solve the different upcoming puzzles for the game. Um, Also, I want to add a save and load game functionality to preserve any like player's progress if they leave the game midway or like their game crashes, for them to not lose their progress at all. Also, I want to add in-game hints or guidance system to aid players stuck on puzzles. So this will basically be like if the player doesn't solve the next puzzle for like a specific amount of time, or yeah, like a text pops up to show them where to go, or like tells them do this, or like move towards this, or like you need to do that in like to unlock this, or like oh the specific clue is this in this location, follow it. Yeah, and also I need to add in-game audio environment for a more immersive and entertaining gameplay. So obviously nature sounds, like interaction sounds with like the clues. It's like when the player opens the door, their door sound opening, or door opening sound, sorry, or also like when the player interacts with the paper would as in like a paper sound would play, or like when the player uses a key sound, like you hear a key sound, then a door sound opening as well. Following up, this is the diagram for the game procedure. So as you can see here, this is the start. This is the start scene. Start scene gives us start button and quit button. So quit button just quits the game. Start button, basically the game starts, and it follows up to the first scene. So scene one, named main. So basically the player interacts with paper one, it's next to the player when he wakes up. When that happens, player paper two is enabled. When player finds paper two and interacts with it, then papers three is enabled, which the player will have to find again and interact with, and it will unlock paper four. And paper four, when player interacts with paper four, key container is enabled and the cave is also enabled. So the player has to look around on the island and explore it to find the cave door. When the player interacts with the cave door, basically the player enters the cave, as in the player spawns inside the cave. And then when the player interacts with the table inside the cave, the game is finished, as in the prototype is finished. Next up, so overall system architecture. The system architecture of this game is designed to support uh, the system architecture of Isle of Secrets is designed to support an immersive puzzle solving experience with a seamless integration of narrative and exploration. So the architectural like follows a modular design pattern, like allowing for flexibility and scalability and also ease of maintenance, like to be able to add more puzzles to the game easily and to be able to maintain the game being not free of bugs and being like uh, easy to maintain basically. Yeah, so the key components of this architecture system are going to be user interface layer. So the main menu basically start game, and exit option, maybe load game and settings options for this user interface, maybe. Um, also, also puzzle interface, so like UI elements for interacting with like puzzles. It's like the text that pops up when the person the player interacts with the papers. Game logic layer, so scene manager, basically like layer basically has a scene manager that handles loading and transitioning between different areas of the island. So that's when the player interacts with the cave and then he spawns inside the cave. That's like swapping between scenes. Also puzzle manager, so controls like the puzzle states, solutions and interactions, and it also ensures that the puzzles are ordered correctly and they unlock each other. Uh, Narrative, sorry, uh, basically input management layer. So this is like to handle the player's inputs, like keyboard or mouse, for movement, obviously, and interaction and UI navigation. Also rendering layer. So rendering engine basically manages the 3D graphics, lighting, and environmental effects. Finally, the timeline. So the timeline hasn't really changed much. Basically, around here, improving the visual design of the island slash adding more detailed textures, lighting, and environmental effects, and also adding some more puzzle elements and everything, and also adding some more like audio audio stuff and finalizing the audio design as well. Um and then obviously I'm gonna be refining the puzzles, like I said. So and like also refining the difficulty based on the playtest feedback that I'm gonna set. Uh, I'm also gonna address any bugs or performance issues that I might encounter. Um, and I'm gonna ensure like smooth performance on targeted platforms, which is PC in this case. And obviously I'm gonna finalize the user interface, so it's like finishing up the start screen and everything. And then it's gonna be coming up on the last week of the project, as in final touches and just like release preparations, like adding final details and making sure that there are no bugs or issues at all. Um, That was my IPD presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.